Sorry, share my screen. Okay, let's go in this way. So I found some interesting topic during my research, and I want to share it with you. So our agenda will be like a few words about Power BI and Power Query, and then we will continue with demo. So I will show you and guide you through steps which I received experience with. So a few words about Power BI ecosystem. So you probably know that we have a lot of applications inside Power BI environment. So we will talk mostly about Power BI desktop, which is, let me know, do you see my mouse?
Yeah, mouse. Yes.
Okay, so here you can see Power BI desktop, which we'll talk today. But you can also speed up your reports. Actually, firstly, publish your reports to service or Power BI report server, which is on-premise application. When your customer or you don't want your reports to be in public cloud, you can publish it to Power BI report server. And if you have your reports in Power BI service, you can speed up your reports using some capacity. It can be Power BI embedded. Here it is, and Power BI Premium. And you can see your reports in mobile application also. So it's and sometimes you need a gateway between your source, which is located on your machine, and Power BI service. So let's go deeper in desktop. And this picture was created by Dusty Ryan. It is a good expert of BI, so you can see it on down. He created this architecture picture. And regarding visualization, some words. So this was created by SQL BI team, Marco Russo and Alberto Ferrari. You can see some like cheat sheet, like for instance, which topic you want to visualize. You can guide through this picture and find some useful visual element. So I think I will find some folder and publish this link to the link to the presentation, and you will see it after the meeting. And if you want, you can go deep into this picture. Regarding Power Query, so you probably heard that it has a lot of connectors natively embedded in Power BI desktop. So files, databases, Azure services, other like web, which we'll talk today, and some social networks. And this is Power Query editor in Power BI. We will work with it today. So you can transform your data, get your data, transform, and like modify wherever you need. And if you need to do some advanced transformations, we'll also do some of them today. You can go to Advanced Editor. So now I'll start demo, but before that I will mention that you can see a slide where you can find some useful links, and some of them will be used today as uh, informational or where we will get data, so you can find everything here. So before I will start demo, do you have any questions, comments? If no, I will proceed further. Okay, so the task here is we have a website with Microsoft locations, um, and I want to scrap them into Power BI. And one of the ways to do that, um, I can go to some other um, pages, because now I see there are no like parameter which I can use. Like this page has just simple link, but no page ID. And you see that we have 4 pages. And I want to go through all these pages and scrub this data into a report. So sometimes we can use a trick to go to another page, and you can see that it is added like page number, and we will use it for automation of web scraping. So I want to get all this data like city, country, address into our report, and maybe to use some for some other actions. Um, I'm not sure. Do you have a lot of noise? My colleagues may be some noisy, but at this time they should go home, I think.
It's normal. Everything all right.
Screen is not sharing, might just say it, so I will repeat screen share. Mehdi, do you see a screen? Okay. Okay, good. So first we need to copy the link, then go to empty report, get data, and use web connector. Press OK. Here we can have button add table using examples, and press it. Expand this window, and here on top we see that it is the same website loaded. So let's grab the data. So and first we name the columns. So first will be like city, and we need to start typing data which you want to scrape. Like first will be Marusi, Guatemala. Then, as you can see, it is propagated to bottom, and then we can continue with country. I'm just naming now the column, and then we also need to type some values. like Greece. Okay, now it's faster. It was created only from one record. And then we will continue with address. Okay, and now it is done. Press OK. So it's generated, and we can press edit. And here's data what we loaded. And this is for second page. So how to do that for all pages in the website? So we don't have any kind of cycles as usually we have in programming languages, but in Power Query we can have some apply, or it's better to say invoke. If you use SQL, you can know some term like apply, cross apply, outer apply. So in this case, we need to generate some IDs. Like I will show you. Create new blank query. We have many options to do that. We can enter some list. Just simple list of numbers. Let source will be some list. And we can convert it using transform to table. And numbers should be whole number. It is the first step, and next we need to convert this query to the function. So go to advanced editor. It is pretty simple. If you have already created a query, you can easily convert it to a function. So I want page ID to be like parameter. So I need to enter some alias for parameter. Let it be var page ID as number. Equals and bigger. Then we remove number, and we can concatenate it with parameter. So here we say it will parameter var page ID type number, and here we using it. In Power Query, it is important that you cannot concatenate text with number, so we need to convert it using a function number to text. And it is done. It is already a function. And it's good way to rename it. You can do it here, or right click on this name. Let it be a fn get Microsoft Offices by page ID. So let's try how it works. So you can enter any number, like from 1 to 4, and it should return a list of offices. So let's try 3. Invoke. Let's compare. First this is Czech, then Cyprus. So let's compare it with website. Go to the third page, and we see that is same order in the same data. So come back to desktop Power BI, and it was like an example. We can remove it. This query I will remain as Microsoft Offices, and now we can apply to each row, to each ID, this function. So how to do that? Go to add column, invoke custom function. Here we select which function we want to use. This name can be changed, and to which column, column 1. And actually, yeah, okay, we can do that. And after that we need to expand columns which were generated by this function. You can press OK, and it is done. We see that it is applied to each page ID and generated full list. We can remove this prefix. If we you can see it is added to each of these 3 columns. Just go to particular step in applied steps and edit settings, and we see almost the same menu as we had previously. We can clear this prefix. Do you hear? Do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Press OK. So now it's full list. Okay, so we extract this data, and my concern was how to read these letters. Actually, I don't understand, and it was interesting for me how to read it. No. Okay, so I will repeat sharing. Okay, Mehdi, do you see a screen now? Okay. So, concern here is how to unify, to make all letters in one language. So, for instance, in English. So, Azure, it is child company of Microsoft, has portal, and where you can have like 1 month for free, and you can try a lot of resources like I don't know, cognitive services, databases, virtual machines, everything you need. You can try it for free for 1 month. Maybe you have some already subscription. I have it now, and you can also try, even if you don't have now a free. Some services have free type of subscription. So in this case, I propose to use Translator for media for to use Translator text API. Yes, you need Azure account, and to use service which I will show you, you don't need to pay money if you will use some limit. So let me explain. I want to create a service, translator text, create. So it doesn't matter how much money I have on this account, because if you expand pricing details, sorry, I already have it one. Maybe it is, I need to delete it first. I already have a free version. Yes. Okay, let's try. So translate. Okay, so you can have only one free translator service, and you can see that F0, each this box has name like SKU, and we have F0 SKU which we can use for free. And actually Azure account you can create without some problems. I think it is pretty easy. So let's give it a name, and also want to mention that you can use any API. If you already have some ideas, you can use not only Azure, you can use some maybe Google or other APIs for translation. Create. It can take a few seconds. Go to resource. So what is important here, that we need to know our key, which is generated in this field. Let's go to documentation. I will also provide this link to you. So to translate your text, you need to go to Translate tab. You need to use some API request. I will show you everything in a few minutes. You need to use this API request to enter some parameters and headers from this documentation. Also, Power BI has a limit that it can work with GET requests. It's like each request has a type, like GET, POST, PUT, or some other. Usually to retrieve data, people use GET type, but sometimes it requires POST. And Power BI natively for this moment not support it if you want to use it in service, but you can use it in desktop. And in this case you need to enter a query manually. So it is not so hard, I think. Let me show you. You press blank query, go to advanced editor. So first we need to have a text which we want to translate. So let's name some step input text. And in hello, it is in Spanish, I think. And second step, we need to have like any, let's say, web query, which will get data using this request. Press web, contents. So next we need to enter our link of API. it should be similar to this one. I mean, if you will use any other API, and if you will use an Azure, it will be this link. Then we need to mention headers. Actually, I can also show you in this documentation. You can see somebody here. Yeah, examples. It's used curl, but in this case, I can show you can enter API request. Then it is stands for header, this one, and some client secret, and content type application JSON, and text which we want to translate. So first header, it will be authorization. In this part, we see that we need to enter authorization header. And let's see examples. So we have two options to enter secret key, which I showed you before, and authorization token. And second part is more hard, and I tried it several times, but I think this part is better. Just to enter a key and use it in each call. So let's type headers. If you have a name of header which consists of several words, you need to use I forgot, I think it is sharp or the sign, kind of this. So you see that I'm using name in this way, and we need to mention which key, and it is in Azure portal. We can copy it. Okay, and second should be header content type. Content type and application JSON. Okay, here are headers. What we also need to do is to push our input text to this API request. Also in the documentation we see how request body should be presented. We can copy it. And add additional step. Let's name it request body. It should be in double quotes because it will be text. And each double quote we need to duplicate because each string which contains double quotes should each double quote to be duplicated. And I will replace this text with input text here. I think it is similar to Excel if you worked with formulas. Okay, and And then we need to put request body to this API request. So it should be in content. So in this case, I will provide you a link from Chris' web portal. It is explaining how to convert GET request, which is natively supported in Power BI, to POST request. You need to enter content, text to binary, and which text or which body you want to push. So we have these headers. And after headers, we need to have content type. Content. It should be a text to binary. Input text. So here you can see we need to enter headers and content. Let's try what we added. Okay, source, we need to rename what we want to return in here. It should be web query. Let request. Oh, this important part. We need to also in API, we need to mention at least two to which language we want to translate. So we also can mention from which language and to which one. So in this case, I want to translate any text from any language to English. So just use %2 equals in English. And here, let me check. So firstly, let's check each step if it is correct. Input text, then go to request body. I think it is correct. Here, request JSON. Let me double check. Text to binary, that's correct. Maybe you have some questions where for now you can ask if you want. Input text, and it's correct. Oh, okay. So in this case, we have input text and then we transform in it, and we need to put not input text and already transformed request body. So here we see that we retrieved some data. So how to read it? We can, for instance, open as if you know what should be returned, or just double click. Then I go to record. read a detected language or translations. So we understand that we need to retrieve translations. Then go to record, and here is to English. Sorry. Let me check the language. English. Translations record. Let's try another word. Russian. Hello. Yeah. So if you enter some text, it will be translated to English. And let's convert it to a function. Just simply move this variable to parameter, and let's name it var input text as text, and this should be removed because it is parameter of the function which will use it further. And here it should be var input text. Okay, so it is now converted to a function, and as per my experience, sometimes text can be with double quotes. So let me show you some two examples, like in Russian, how do you do? Yeah. Invoke, how it's going? Yeah. It's correct. Then delete. But if we will use a text with double quotes, it can have some error. Like so to remove this error, we need to modify our query using the function text replace. First parameter is text, then what we need to replace, and new value. So it should be double quotes, which we want to replace with, for instance, single quote. Try and enter some text. Yeah, so you can choose any logic how you will handle this error. For you can use it. You can use such logic. So here's a function. Let's name it as function translate to English. And we also need to organize these queries. So let first would be in group data, and other will be in other queries group. So here we have Microsoft Office's query, and I want to translate address. So let's, this range is pretty interesting. How to translate this text. So how to do that? Go to add column, invoke custom function, choose translate, and name the column which will be result address English. Press OK. Maybe we need to wait a few seconds because it will generate API request per each row. And let's try. And here is Shinagawa Grand Central Tower. So this is a goal which I wanted to achieve. So for now, maybe you have some other questions you can ask. No? You can also use voice, not only chat.
Actually, is it possible to scrape some harder scraped data? I mean, more complicated pages than that you used.
Can you provide some example, and I will think on this. If you go to the code here, we see that is using some CSS Selector, and if you scrape some more advanced, you need to use some advanced queries here. And let me show. I'm not a big expert of CSS selectors, so it is another big topic. What I want to tell you, let's so if you go to, for instance, second step, you see that we import in some HTML text, and using CSS selectors, you can extract more complex queries, some more advanced tables. So I think it is possible, but to be sure, you can provide some link of website, and I will think on this.
Okay, I try to find some example.
Sorry?
I try to find some example.
Oh, okay. So I will remove it. So let me explain some additional example with custom functions. So basically the logic is next. Let's enter data. Let it be like John, like first name and last name. Jane. So we have some table like names, and simply we can use custom functions to any action reason what we need. So a pretty basic example. I want to create a column which will be concatenation. We can do it in any ways, but I will explain you using custom function. So let's create a blank query, advanced editor. This function should have two parameters. First can be like var text1 as text, then var text2 as text, and let it be a result, and it can be concatenation of these two words, two variables, and space. So basically we have some input parameters, then we use it in any logic and return some value, result of your transformations. Done. So let me show you how it works. Like you enter two texts, like, and invoke, and how it is concatenated. Let me remove it. Then function, let it be a function concatenate, and simply add column, invoke custom function, result can be like full name, and invoke which function concat. Here we can use text or column. In both cases we will use column name, first name and last name. Press OK, and we have already applied function. So here's the way how it works. And you can put this data to, like, for instance, map. So I used this data to analyze some, to try and analyze some information from web, and wanted to share this experience with some other guys. I already provided a lot of trainings in my company regarding these topics. One sec. Okay. Let's put, for instance, firstly address. So, for instance, now it is not good case, yeah. So you don't understand what is written, and you can replace it with another, which we just created, and now it's more clear for me, so I can send any local sentence and address. So this is just simple example. So maybe you have some more questions. This is like an example how you can use Power BI for source service analytics and create some any transformations using also API. And as I told, it is free. The tier which I'm using now, pricing tier, if I will use it for less than 2 million characters per month, it will be free. So it's enough to work sometimes. What else interesting? I think it is enough for now. So if you have more questions, you can ask. If no, we can end the session. Okay, thank you, Mehdi. Thank you, guys.